Hey, fifth grade friends, Mrs. Kalaga here. I am the school librarian at Grand Prairie Elementary. I wanted to share a new book that I picked up this summer and will be adding to our collection. It's called How to Be a Supervillain, Bad Guys Finish First by James Patterson. We have several other books by Patterson I know that you would recognize, such as Dog Diaries, Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life, and Treasure Hunters. So this is How to Be a Supervillain, Bad Guys Finish First. Mom and Dad dropped me off at library sleepaway camp. He never saw the laser coming. Dad stared. It's awfully quiet in there. It's supposed to be quiet, I said. It's a library. A little too quiet, said Mom, looking worried. I shook my head. What do you think is going to happen? Death by paper cut? Maybe death by boredom, said Dad. I sighed. I'm doing this. It's what I want. Like you wanted to be a pharmacist, said Mom. I glared at them. I was 4. It was a phase. This is serious. He was so cute in his white lab coat, counting pills, said Dad. Okay, it's 2 sweet tarts twice a day with Jell-O and absolutely no operating heavy machinery. Always so particular about everything, said Mom. Dad said, everything in its place, everything just so. Victor always has to have order. Mom frowned. Never chaos. You should try it sometime, said Dad. Chaos is fun. Enough, I snapped. Mom smiled. There's our little supervillain. He's in there, said Dad. Hiding. I'm going, I said. I headed for the front door of the library. You forgot something, yelled Mom. I stopped. What? We love you. I love you too. I turned and looked back. It's true. They did love me and I loved them. It's just that at that particular moment, I didn't like them very much. Chapter 4. I opened the door to the library and it hit me. The smell. You probably think I think books smell like sunshine, or puppies, or rainbows, or unicorns. No. Books smell like mystery. Books smell like an old donut in the back of the refrigerator. It might be good, it might not. What's inside? Is it fun? Is it scary? Is it boring? Will it save me? Will it take me where I never knew I wanted to go? I think they smell like pudding, said a woman's voice. I think they smell like warm socks right out of the dryer, said another woman. I think they smell like the last leaf of autumn, said a third woman. The one that falls to your feet and crumbles into 1,000 pieces of possibility. I turned to see 3 women. You must be Victor, said the woman in the center. I'm the head librarian, Mrs. Wibble. Mrs. Wibble looked like a librarian, sweet, patient, with just a glint of steel in her eye. Or was that library paste? Hello, I said. Mrs. Wibble gestured to the other women. This is Miss Orion, and this is Mrs. Rotel. Charmed to make your acquaintance, said Miss Orion. He doesn't look like a supervillain, said Mrs. Rotel. I'm not, I said a little too loud. No, said Mrs. Wibble. No, today you're a junior librarian with a lot to learn, said Miss Orion. I looked around. The library was huge. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating endless rows of books. Tiny dust motes danced in the sunbeams as though they were excited to be there, because apparently nobody else was. Where is everyone? I asked. There was a pause as the 3 librarians shared a look. Slow day, said Mrs. Wibble. Mondays are always slow, said Miss Orion. Mrs. Rotel added, and Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and... Enough, snapped Mrs. Wibble. Mrs. Rotel mimed zipping her lips shut. Not everyone likes to read, I said. We've noticed, said Mrs. Wibble. And we're working on it, said Mrs. Orion, with a tone that suggested it was not only true, but certain. There was a beat of silence. Then, would you like to help us shelve some books, said Mrs. Wibble. Would I piped. I know, I shouldn't pipe. It's unbecoming. But I don't care. I like books and I like reading them. I like holding them. I like shelving them in their proper place according to the Dewey Decimal System. Mrs. Wibble handed me a book. Go for it. It was a book on owls. Mortimer had known a lot of owls. Okay, I said out loud. This is a work of nonfiction and it's about animals, so that means it should be in the 500s for science, then the 590s for animals, then 598 for birds. Wow, said Miss Orion. He didn't even have to look at the spine. I spend a lot of time in libraries, I said. Obviously, said Mrs. Wibble. I headed toward the proper stack. The bird books were on the top shelf. I rolled a ladder over and started to climb, and I stopped halfway up. There was another book that caught my eye. It was misshelved. It didn't belong in the science section, and I pulled it out. I smiled. No need for that now. What in the... Uh-oh, said Mrs. Wibble. Get down! You'll have to come to the media center and look for this book to find out what happens next. I look forward to seeing you guys this week. Bye.